Welcome to the Friday Five for October 14th, 2022. Today I've got a couple of friends with me here. I have Aaron Judge and I have Babe Ruth looking good and getting ready for the Yankees game, which is going on this afternoon because yesterday's was rained out for bad weather. But before we get to the Yankees game, we've got 5 questions that came up this week. We're going to run through them quickly with some quick answers for you, hopefully give you a little more information on these subjects. My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm an estate planning and business law attorney. Got offices in Edina, Minnesota, and New York City. And so let's get right to question number 1, which is, how do I write up charitable donations or scholarships that have specific goals in my estate plan? Now, many clients will come to me and they want to leave a scholarship to their school or they want to donate to a specific charity, which is fine, and you can leave it generally to the school or generally to the charity, but oftentimes you may have a specific cause or you have a specific scholarship. Maybe it's a low-income student from a certain community that you want to make sure gets the scholarship. So the question is, how do we put that in our will to make sure that the money goes to the right place, leaving you the right legacy? Well, the simple answer is reach out to the educational institution, reach out to the charity, because they usually have a planned giving department that actually will have specific language that they can give to you to put in your will so that you can make sure that whatever you're donating goes to the right place. It's not a bad thing if it goes to the general donation fund. However, if you have a specific goal, we want to make sure we have the correct language for you. Question number 2 this week, how do you move your house into a trust? So a lot of people will spend some time creating an estate plan and they add a trust to it, and they may have reasons for it that may or may not apply to you. But if you're creating a trust and you need to put property into that trust, a lot of people ask, what do I do next? I've created the trust, and hopefully you've worked with an attorney who can frankly answer this question for you. Now, this question came up this week because the trust was actually created in another state, and so the client was reaching out to me because we need to move Minnesota property into that trust. And so what we do is we use a deed that we file with your local property registrar, your local property clerk, that says that the house or the property that you owned in your name is now moved into the trust. So if you own property in another state and you're creating a trust in your state, reach out to an attorney in that other state to make sure you're doing the deed the correct way. Question number 3 this week is for you business owners. Have you checked in on your annual registrations and your agents for your LLC or company? So we're getting close to the end of the year at this point. It's October 14th. We have about 2.5 months left in the year. And depending upon when you do your filings, we want to make sure that for 2023, you have your registered agent information up to date and we have any changes that need to be made. Your registered agent is important because if the state needs to send important documents to your company, they need to send it to the right place. Someone who will receive it, be able to receive it, and then notify you that it's come in. So if you're using registered agent that you're paying for, make sure that you've paid for the upcoming year and that they know where to find you and they know how to get you the documents. You don't want to be left out in the cold and find out that a lawsuit was served upon you, upon the state and then to the registered agent, and you never found out about it, and then all of a sudden there's a default judgment against you and your company. And as we've been talking about in some prior videos on this channel, you could even end up personally liable if you had signed a personal guarantee for those. Question 4. Can you create a consulting agreement for your business just using some form you have? Now, the general answer is yes, you could, but the real answer is should you? The real question is should you, and the answer is probably not. So I had a client come to me who brought a consultancy agreement they had used in a prior iteration at a company they had worked for, and they were just going to copy the agreement that their company used, which you can do. But remember, if that company was giving it to an independent contractor before, to that consultant, the company who drafted it has very different priorities than the consultant did. So if you're now running your own company and you're going to be consulting for somebody else, using that old agreement from your employer may not be the best idea for you, because frankly, it may have been drafted with the company in mind, not the consultant. And especially if you're in a different state, you want to make sure the agreement is appropriate for you and has the appropriate clauses. And question number 5 for this week, how do you get permission from mortgage lenders if you want to move your property into an LLC? Now, a lot of the work I do with people who own rental properties and vacation homes includes moving that property into an LLC. If you own the property free and clear, there's no lender, there's no mortgage, you don't even have to worry about this question, you can move on. But For those who have a lender involved, if you're making mortgage payments and you want to put the property in an LLC, you need to make sure you speak to your lender first and get approval from them to be able to move the property over. Some lenders will not approve it, and it can actually cause your mortgage to accelerate. Essentially, they will treat it as a sale and then say you owe all of the money that's due on your mortgage. The smarter way to do it is, before you go down this road, reach out to the lender and find out if they will approve you to move the property into the LLC. Most lenders will, but some may have a few extra requirements. If you've been working with servicing companies as opposed to a traditional mortgage lender, that servicing company may not be interested in allowing you to move that property into the LLC, in which case you may want to look at some other options. You may want to come speak to an attorney about using a trust or some other estate planning devices to be able to move that property out of your name for liability protection. So those are our 5 questions for the week. Talking about charitable donations, moving your house into a trust, checking on your annual registrations, creating consultant agreements, and getting permissions from a mortgage lender. If you have questions you'd like me to address on future Friday Fives, there'll be a link in the description of this video. You can click on and submit the question, and we'll try to get to it as soon as we can. I'm off to enjoy the nice fall Minnesota weather. I hope you are too, wherever you are, enjoying a great fall, and hopefully the Yankees are winning this afternoon. So I hope everyone has a great weekend.